Hey guys, how's it going today? How's it going this morning? It's morning here. It depending on where you are in the world, it's probably evening for you, for most of you, if you're in the US. Welcome to another episode of Gunpla Critique. So sorry for starting a few minutes late here. I needed to gather all the photos from everyone. We're going to take a look at 4 kits today from some different Patreon supporters. So again, if you guys are interested in submitting works for any future episodes, you can check out my Patreon page, and there's information about that on there. Now, let's see, get these opened up. Doing it a little bit differently today, today's episode. After the episode, or after the new show with Josh the other day, on 2 days ago, the Plamo No Trend with Josh, and we were using StreamYard, and StreamYard is the website application, whatever, that we use for Gunpla Talk as well, and like what Tim uses for Mechanism and that. And so it's quite convenient. I think better than OBS for just kind of like chatting stuff. You don't need to like show anything. Multiple cameras, I mean, because you can't do multiple cameras with this application. But anyway, so I was thinking I should use this rather than OBS for doing Gunpla Critique as well, because it's much easier to just show the like images, preview images, and then my picture here. Well, I'll show you what I mean. Doing an OBS, it's kind of like you just kind of have to work stuff around a lot more, and it's kind of confusing. This I think is much simpler, and you guys can just see that. It just pops up like that. There we go. I can zoom like that. I think this is a much easier thing to use for us. Don't you think so? I guess so. I don't like how there's over here. I don't like how I can't crop the window. That's the thing with OBS. I can crop the view of the window, but with this, when I open, like when I'm screen sharing one application, it will show like the full application window, and I don't want to do that. I want it to like just show just the image, the main image, but it's good enough anyway. I think either way, this is better. I think easier than doing with OBS. So, all right, let us get down to it now that I've stalled for a few minutes. All right, so first one, I just want to say, because Seal has been asking, I just wanted to say muffins for him because he has been asking. But that's all. I'm not going to say anything more, so don't ask me to say anything else. I'll give you that one. This work we're going to be looking at here first is obviously the Master Grade Hi-Nu Verka by Petru. In the past few episodes, he's submitted his works. He's always doing cool work. So, and this is one too that I've seen already. So it's not my first time seeing this. He's been sharing some photos of this over in our Discord, in the Patreon Discord as well. So again, if you're interested in joining the my Discord server, it's also a Patreon benefit. So you can check that out if you're interested. So it's pretty cool. This one is very nice. I really like this, as I already told it in the Discord too. But let's just take a look through some of these photos. First of all, really nice photos as well. That always helps. You know, when you got a nice clean background, good high quality photos, we can see everything in nice detail and all that. The decals, without checking to be sure, I'm pretty certain, 99% certain, these are just the decals that were included with the kit. I don't think he did anything like really custom with the decals, except maybe this Londo Bell logo there on the front of the crotch, in the center of the crotch. I'm not sure. I don't remember offhand if that particular version of the Londo Bell decal is included with this kit. I don't think so. I think maybe is from a different set he added. And I know there was another photo of that here. This one, you can see this Londo Bell logo. I don't think that's included with this kit. Is it? Someone let me know. I should say, just going back to using a different format for this episode. The other downside of that is that with this format using StreamYard, I can't multi-stream to Twitch as well. So this previous episodes were streaming to YouTube and Twitch. This one is just only to YouTube and Facebook. So no Twitch anymore, maybe, for these Gunpla critique episodes, but I think that's okay. Anyway, anytime I'm doing like live builds, those will still be streaming to Twitch as well. But yeah, it's a mix between the default set and a custom one. Okay. So yeah, it's a mix of the decals that came with the kit and some custom decals as well. Yeah, like this one, this in that leg vent there, like in the opening of the leg vent, that little kind of V-shaped one. I don't think that is from this set. Also, I could be wrong. This kit does come with some decals like that, but I don't think that particular one, that doesn't look like it was included with this particular set, with this particular kit. Also, the pre-shading on it looks really nice as well. I wonder if in some of the photos, it kind of looks like the pre-shading is done in like a dark blue, maybe not like black, because it looks like the pre-shading does have a little like hint of blue to it, which seems like it would make sense for this color scheme. That would be a plausible color to use for pre-shading. I can't say for certain like that's what I would do, but possibly what I would do. It makes sense anyway. If someone asked me to recommend what color to use for pre-shading on this kit, blue would kind of make sense. Yeah, it's a dark purple. The base is dark purple. Okay, so all the white is all paint. Like you didn't do just the pre-shading in dark purple, or like the whole parts were coated in dark purple and then you just built up the white over that, because that would be hard to do. And building up white over even like a okay. So yeah, building up white even over like gray primer sucks. It's not fun to do. But over like a dark color, man, that must have taken a while. It takes a lot of coats of white paint to cover up a dark color, like to get like a nice bright white color anyway, if you want a good white color. And that is really nice. I like that. And I like the two-tone white you can see there on the forearm. Here you guys can see my mouse on the screen, can't you? That's good. I can point to stuff. The two-tone white is really nice. I like that. And is it two-tone or three-tone? Maybe even three-tone on there. Yeah, it looks like there is at least three, if not four, because there's like the white, and then there's like the warm white, and then there's the light gray. You can see like especially around there in the torso, and like the knees are like in kind of a in-between color. Are those which color is that? Anyway, three tones. So yeah, he said in the chat, three tones, yes. So yeah, I really like the different tones of white. The different tones of blue, I'm not sure. I think I do really like the different tones. The lighter tone is much lighter. Like with the whites, the tones are very slightly different, so it's not really very noticeable when you're looking at it like from a distance. It's subtly noticeable. The blue, like the light purplish blue and the dark purple, is a more noticeable difference. So like normally I would like them to be a little bit more subtle, but I don't know. They're both such really nice colors. It's kind of hard. Yeah, I don't want to say that like I would have maybe gone with a different tone for like the lighter color, not quite so light, but at the same time, it does look really nice. It's a really nice color, so I think it looks good. Yeah. In other circumstances, I may have wanted to say like it's a little bit too light for my personal preference, but I think it looks very good. And I like the use of the metallic bits for parts of the frame. Is the whole frame painted in this kind of yeah, I like the fingertips too. Yeah, someone Ted pointing out in the chat. I forgot to mention that thus far, but I like the yellow fingertips. The very Advanced Zeta kind of like style things. Not something you normally see on a Hi-Nu, but I like the inclusion of that. It's a cool little thing just to make it a little bit more kind of custom, right? Customize. Let's see, is there another better picture of the hands as well? There's a couple of photos here we didn't look at quite yet. These darker ones where you can really see, like against the darker background, you can really see that the yellow fingertips popping as well. So you said there's 3 metals for the frame: dark steel, aluminum, and dark gold. Yeah, I think the frame looks really good. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you know that I don't particularly subscribe to the idea that inner frames have to be in like metallic color. A lot of people kind of just like think that, but I don't. And if you've seen any of my painted builds, I almost never use metallic for the inner frames. But I think that's not to say that they don't look good in metallic in certain occasions. I think the metallics he used here look really, really nice. And there's a good nice mix of them as well, with how he said he used 3 different colors. And because this particular kit, you don't really see a whole lot of the frame. Like you can see it just like poking out in certain sections. That's why I think like using a metallic color for this kit's inner frame works really well, because like on the actual joints and stuff, you don't actually see the frame like a lot, but you've got little bits of frame poking out between, like amongst the armor. So having it in a metallic color, it catches the light really nicely. So you just got these like bright little bits of armor poking out that catch the light really nicely. So it looks really good. So like here in like the front vent and like the front of the skirt armor, if that was just in like a gray or something, it wouldn't have that nice little bit of like metal shine there for that bit, and like just a little bit of shine on the elbow as well, elbow joint up there. So I like that. It's not really bright on the shoulders. What's that? Oh, on the top of the shoulders, that's not inner frame poking out of the top of the shoulders here. It's not inner frame poking out. He just painted it like that. Anyway, yeah, it looks good for that. And yeah, the finish is really good. It's really nice. I like it. Was anything modded on it? I don't think so, but you can let us know there in the chat. I don't think you modded anything for this, right? And do you still have the rifle and shield still yet to finish, or did you just decide just to not have this displayed with those? Okay, sorry. Let me check back to the email. He also sent a video of this, but with this program, I can't show a video. Or actually, I think I can. Let me see, because I was testing this with Josh. So let me see. I'll play the video here for you guys if I can. Let's see. I want to hang on, guys. Just bear with me for a minute, and I'll play the video for you. Where are we? We'll stop that. Let me share this other window with the video. Here we are. Let's check in 4K. Hopefully it doesn't like take forever to load, but at least you guys can see it well. And if you want to check his channel, there it is. Shaka 12. I don't know. Maybe 4K is going to maybe take too long to load. It's only 43 seconds of video. So let's see. If it doesn't load 4K, I'll have to maybe take it down one. Because I'm streaming at the same time, I think my computer is maybe a little bit hinder. Let's just take a look at it like this anyway. Okay, so here you can see it with the shield and the beam rifle. And what did you say also here in the email? Anything else that I missed? Sorry about that. Okay. So anyway, yeah. There you go. I think it looks great with the shield and the beam rifle as well. Really, really nice kit. There's some winglets and cutouts on the shield. Okay, so he did add a little bit of customization to it. I said it's some winglets added. The winglets added on the shield as well. Yeah. Sorry, I remember that now. The picture I saw in Discord you sent. I remember seeing the bits added on the shield. Yes. Right. And lots of masking on the gun. Yeah, so that's a beautiful kit. I love the yellow on the front of the chest too. What yellow did you use for that? Is that my favorite character yellow? It looks like it. And the little like the light gray color used for the little vents and stuff too. It's a really nice bit. So really great use of different colors for this character yellow. Yep. I'm telling you guys, you got to go on that character yellow. If you want yellow accents on anything, just use character yellow. That's where it's at. Don't use just like straight up yellow. It's just too nasty, gross, just yellow. You got to get that little bit of orange in there. Or I guess you could use like regular yellow and then mix it with like a little bit of fluorescent orange. Would also look really good and look very similar to character yellow, probably. You don't necessarily need to use fluorescent orange. I guess you could use regular orange, but fluorescent orange would also help make it look really bright. So, Shaka, thank you very much, as always, for your submission. Very cool. All right. Very cool. All right, let's take a look here then next at just a couple photos here from Brian. Not Bro Builder Brian, different Brian here, who submitted just a couple of pictures here of this Master Grade Wing Verka. And he said this was actually done by his partner. He said his first or one of the first. Let me see. Let me check the email. I forget the exact wording he used on that. I don't want to get it wrong for you guys. He said this was his partner's first build. So keep that in mind as I share the screen here for you guys. Here we are. So it looks like, from what I can tell in the photos, it's just a snap build, so nothing else really done on it. But considering it's his first build, let's just take a look at this then. Let's see, I can just get the window proportion right. Sorry, guys. And also not taking up my whole screen so I can also see what I'm doing. But let's just take a look and see if we can give any pointers just for a first, just kind of snap building. And it's kind of hard to tell. The photo's not very bright. It's not very clear resolution, but we'll see what we can see. Anyway, first recommendation I would give you is to get a stand. I don't remember. Yeah, I think this kit doesn't come with a stand, right? The Wing Gundam Master Grade with the angel wings, that one comes with a stand. Unfortunately, this one did not, strangely, but excuse me. Excuse me. So I would recommend, getting a stand for this. It's going to help a lot, especially if you're wanting to do this kind of pose with the kit, just getting it up on a stand. And it looks like we got some nub marks on here. You can see them a little bit poking out on the frame, especially like on the front of the forearm there. So just getting a good hobby knife and sanding stick, something like that. You can see some different nub marks around here on the red parts on the shoulders and stuff like that as well. So on the wings and everything. So you can see like here on the top of the wings, how that yellow part on the top is not fitting flush on there. It's because of those blue nub marks on there and some nub marks under there. So not only is proper removal of nub marks important for just the kit looking good, but also for it to fit together properly. Sometimes, like, this doesn't happen that often, but I've occasionally had people like sending me a message saying like, oh, I'm building this kit and it's not fitting together properly. and they're trying to figure out why it's not fitting together, and they're saying, oh, maybe I got like a defective kit or something like that. Bandai, I would say, I would say just pretty generally, Bandai just doesn't produce defective kits. Their quality is so good. Like from Kotobukiya, maybe Wave, possibly if you got some like defective part, I would maybe believe it, but a defective part from Bandai, I have a really hard time believing that. It'd be like 1 in a million. I don't know. So usually in the case of if you're putting something together as a Bandai model kit and it's not like fitting together properly, it's probably somewhere you're putting it together like upside down or the wrong way. It's like meant to be turned the other way or something. Sometimes, the parts have like the little hash mark on there to show like that you need to put on a particular way, or you've got like nub marks in there, nubs that aren't completely removed, so that's kind of blocking the parts from fitting together properly. So anyway, just make sure that you're cleaning up your nub marks all very well. And Brian's here in the chat. He said he just got stands in. Okay, so they just got stands. That's good. So you can get it up on a stand, and then also our tools as well. Okay, good. So you got some stands, got some tools. That would be kind of the main recommendation to start off with. I'd say the next thing, I don't know if among the tools that you got, if you also picked up something to do some panel lining and maybe some top coating as well, it'd be the next things I would recommend for you. Something to do some panel lining. A lot of people, I think, at this particular stage of being very new to building and where you're just kind of just doing some snap building of just like your first few kits, typically I think probably the most common thing that people will use for panel lining at that stage is panel lining markers or pens. And so I would recommend just maybe picking up one of those. The nice thing about those, what you can do is you don't need to use any solvents for those. I think you can just go with your pen along the panel lines and stuff like that, and then you can just use a rubber eraser to just clean that up, just if it's just like right on the bare plastic like that. So you don't need any thinner or lighter fluid or anything like that to clean up the nub lines. You can either use, you could do that as well. I would recommend, if you wanted to use something like that, lighter fluid would be better than any thinner, because you want to, as much as you can, avoid putting thinner on the bare plastic. But yeah, just a rubber eraser should work just fine. And then some top coat, just getting like a spray can of top coat or something to just spray on there after you've done a little bit of panel lining, putting on some of the decals. Pretty sure this kit comes with some dry transfer decals, right? Maybe some sticker decals as well, but no water slides, unfortunately, even though it's a Verka design. Unless this is the Verka. Is this the Verka or the master grade? Brian, you can maybe let us know. But even the Verka, I don't think came with water slides, did it? Because this is it's one of the early Verkas, and the early Verkas didn't come with water slides like they do now. Oh yeah, I say okay, it is the Verka, but I don't recall. Did this come with water slides? I don't think so. I think just dry transfers and stickers. I have this kit, built it ages ago. Actually, I have it right here. I could just look right behind me. I forgot I had it here. It's under a bunch of magazines though, so it's kind of like crushed. Ugh. I forgot that I brought this back from my parents' house. Yeah. Could just take a little sneaky peek in the box. Actually, the reason that I brought this back, yeah. Yep. Dry transfers and stickers only. The reason that I actually brought this back was not, this is one that I built years and years and years ago. And it was in storage at my parents' house. When I brought it back with me, one of the most recent times that I've been back from my parents' house, visiting my parents' house in America, was because I just need the inner frame, actually. I have a different resin conversion kit that uses the Master Grade Wing Gundam's frame. And so I needed to bring that back for that. Anyway, I won't get too off on that tangent, but Don, hey, what's going on, man? I mean, I am keeping safe. I hope you guys are keeping safe. I miss you guys there in the Philippines. Hopefully I can visit you guys again in the near future. So, Brian, I think it's looking good. I mean, for a first kit, you got to start somewhere. So there's definitely a lot of room for improvement, but it's a step-by-step process. So the first step is just getting the basics down of getting some nice nub removal on there, and we work on the posing on a base. I think in general the pose is kind of, it's fine. It's like off to a good start. Needs some refining on the pose, and once you get up on a base, that'll be a lot easier as well. With weapons too. The trouble with this kit is that the weapon, it has a hard time holding the beam rifle. So it's a struggle to pose this kit, I know. But yeah, getting those, and then next I would recommend is looking into some panel lining, top coating, and for the second, third, and fourth kits, and then maybe start to look into doing some painting and stuff like that as well. You'll be good to go. So looking forward to seeing what you'll share with us next month as well then. Okay. Next one here is going to be from Jonathan. Jonathan. And let's see. Let me arrange this here. There we go. So this is the Master Grade Origin Gundam. As you can see, with some custom colors here. And then I think he said he did some modification on the backpack. A small mod on the backpack. What's the mod on the backpack? I think just the thruster bells. Looks like maybe he just added a little bit to the thruster bells to make those a little bit longer. As far as I can tell, it looks like that is the only modification, I think. Maybe the little detail part there on the center is maybe also added. Looks like that little vent detail there in the center, maybe added on there as well, I think. But cool colors. It's nice to see an RX-78, in custom colors like this, which is not like an official alternate color scheme, like the Char's Gundam or the real type colors or the G3 or the rollout colors or something like that. Those color schemes all are cool, but it's cool to see just like an original custom color scheme as well too. So I like it. I think it looks good. Appreciating on it does also look pretty good. It's got much like kind of compared to Shaka's build, the Hi-Nu that we saw, which was also appreciated master grade, so they're both similar in that sense. This one has like a darker feel to it, so I'm wondering if maybe he used, but I don't know. Is this also in like a dark blue appreciating on that, or black? It could just be the lighting of the photos as well. Why just kind of the kit has a kind of general darker feel to it. And I don't think that, let's see. I don't think Jonathan is in the chat at the moment, so maybe he can't answer that. But I also, of course, because it's very similar to the style that I like to do. I like the base as well. Just a nice, cool, simple block base there with just a little bit of maybe some masked painting there just for the stripes on the base. Gives just a nice little something to stand on. The decals also look good. The red is very bright though. I wonder what those decals are, and I have a suspicion that those are maybe simp decals, because the simp decals are like a really bright fluorescent color. So that would be my suspicion that those are maybe simp, or alternately like some other like what are they, DL, like Chinese brand decals. They're a little bit too bright pink, and I think, in my opinion, for this build, because it's a pretty like what do I want to say, just dark desaturated color tone for this. You got like dark gray and the blue, and it's white, but with appreciating it had kind of like a little bit darker feel to it. So I think some red decals, I think generally would have been fine there, but those are very bright. So I think they, having your decals like pop is good. It can be nice. So like the white decals pop really nicely on there. And I think the red could have made like a nice accent to that, but I think just sticking to like the white color of decals being like your main like popping color, and the red being just sort of like an accent for that. But now they're like clashing a little bit, like these bright white pops and then these like bright like hot pink sort of looking. And again, it's kind of hard to tell. It could just be the photographs. They look a lot more like hot pink than they do in person. Maybe they're not quite that bright. They're just catching the light maybe more in this, but some Verka decals are pretty neon bright. Yeah, Shaka. Yeah. So yeah, it's Shaka saying in the chat there that he's going for some fluorescent warning decals, like when you shine a light on like a street sign. So I get what you mean. That kind of decal. Yeah, you have to like sort of mimic the effect of like street signs or whatever, where they light up really bright when there's a light shined on them. Yes, I am not sure if that's what did he say that was what he was going for. Maybe he mentioned that in the Discord, and I didn't see that message. It's very possible, but anyway, just my point is, if that was the goal, I get it. I just think it's a little bit bright. I do like the gold for the eyes as well, kind of gold kind of color. I think it's gold, kind of a metallic orange or something maybe as well. Anyway, it's a nice color for the eyes. It works well. It's sort of the color scheme kind of reminds me of the Gundam local type, now that I'm thinking about it. Again, I don't know if that was necessarily intentional, because it's not exactly like the local type, but it's similar. Minus the shield. The shield is definitely not like the local type, but just like looking at this, of just like the main like head and the body here, obviously has that local type vibe. Let me actually, I'm gonna just pull up a picture here, because I forget exactly what the local type looks like in terms of its colors and everything. But oh yeah, so yeah, it's not exactly like it. The local type's color part is white and the chest vents are yellow. So it's similar, but it's not quite the same like that. So anyway, yeah. Otherwise, I think, yeah, it looks good. Like I said, the appreciating looks good. I'm not sure. I can't really tell if the appreciating is also in like a dark blue for this one as well, or if it's just straight up black. But I think it looks good. Sometimes black appreciating under white, doesn't look good, but this one doesn't look that dark. So I'm thinking it's maybe a dark blue or something like that, something along those lines. And then also on the body, it looks like he maybe also did some highlighting as well. Because on these blue parts, it looks like there's maybe a little bit brighter blue sprayed on there as like a highlight on there as well. Again, it's kind of hard to tell, but I think it looks like that. Anyway, painting looks great. I like the pose, just a nice simple kind of pose there for the base. Doing anything else like too crazy, the base is kind of relatively small, so you couldn't do like some like super dynamic action pose where you need to have the legs much wider apart, because there's no room on the base for that. So if you want to fit it onto this kind of small base for just like kind of a standing walking pose, it looks pretty good. It's not a fixed pose. As you can see, the pose is slightly changed between these two different photos, but anyway, it looks good, I think. So yeah, I like the dark color for the inner frame. It looks like it's maybe just like a straight up dark gray, or maybe a really dark gunmetal color. It's kind of hard to tell because it's very dark. So I can't tell if it's got any like metallic gunmetal kind of shine to it. It looks like it's maybe in like a dark gunmetal kind of color. So that looks good as well too. I think, yeah, the colors look nice. I like the gray for like the parts which would have been yellow on the original kit. The collar, the chest vents, the parts on the front of the skirt, and also the feet. It's an interesting gray color, sort of like slightly dark brownish gray for that. I like that color. I'll ask him what color that is. Looks good. Probably. Where am I originally from? Was someone asking? Wayne Stock, where in the U.S. are you from? Where in the U.S. are you and your family thinking to move to? So we're planning to move to Florida. I'm from Illinois. Yeah, my hometown. I'm from Illinois, and then I went to university in Kansas City, Missouri. So, all right, we got excuse me, one more here to look at, and it's going to be from Greg. So I need to pull up Greg's photos here. So excuse me a minute. And I'm not sure if Greg is here in the chat. He asked me to do his build last so that he would be able to watch live if possible. Because like I said, his working hours, whatever. So hopefully Greg's watching at the moment, but I haven't seen him in the chat. I don't know if he's here. So maybe he's, even though we kept him for last, maybe it's not quite late enough. He's not able to catch it live, but can see the playback anyway, if not live. Oh, yeah, you are here. Okay, good. That's good, Greg. My memory is pretty awful, but I did remember to keep yours for last. So a little bit, slightly proud of myself for that, even though not much of an accomplishment, but I'm telling you guys, I really have the worst memory. All right. So Greg got his Gerbera Tetra kit here, the HG that he's been working on, and we've been working on in the Discord as well, trying to help him out with the build, giving some seamline advice and things like that with this. So, Greg, it's now completed. Yes, all done, right? Or still work in progress? Or is it all done? Looks like pretty much all done, right? My first impression is that the color is really nice and really matches the color. At first, when I saw the photos, I wasn't sure if it was painted or not. I wasn't sure because it looks like very similar to the just like original color of the plastic of the kit. So it's almost done, he said. So maybe a little bit left to do. What do you still have left that you want to do on it? Anyway, yeah, the matching it to the original color of the kit, I think the color looks really good for that. And it looks like he used some metallic kind of gunmetal color there for like the big boosters, and then like the rest of the frame and bits look to be in just kind of like a medium gray kind of color. On the beam rifle here, it looks like you can still see a little, looks like he removed the seam line, but you can still see a little bit of the seam line there on the gun. So there's that. And there's no clear picture of the arm. I was trying to give him some advice about how to remove the seam line on the forearm, but as far as I can tell in the pictures, there's not like a really clear photo of just the forearm there, but it looks like the seam line, looks like you got rid of the seam line on the arm there without too much issue. It looks good. I can't see it really at all, so that's good. And yeah, the colors all look nice. Just a few decals on there, not a lot, just a few here and there, but I think they work well. I just noticed, just about the Gerbera Tetra design that I've never really noticed before is that these panels like on the front of the shoulders there really remind me of the parts on the front of the G Self. The G Self has kind of similar parts on the top of the torso, so it's just kind of interesting thing to note. Kind of similar design feature. That's a pretty unique design feature that's shared between these two very different designs. Anyway, just noticing that. Mecha decals. Yeah, okay, good. So he's using the mecha decals from Jim, one only childmecha.com. The legs, just a note on the pose. I would angle out the legs a little bit more, and the feet, they're a little bit kind of just like straight down. They're at an angle, but I mean like they're straight forward. Angling them out a little bit, I think would also help. And also the arm, this arm with not holding the rifle to be a little bit back. So just a couple of little notes there on the pose. And also, as it's come to been known by Josh and I, calling it the dig out pose, where you got to pose it. And this is kind of hard to do with some high grades, so I'm not saying, I realize with this kit, it might be kind of particularly hard to do, but you kind of have to pose it so that like the legs are like super straight, but then like also angled a little bit forward. So then the actual body is then like a little bit leaned back. I know you're not really seeing me very clearly, but basically, so it looks like he's sort of like lunging with the dick out is kind of a good way to pose kits like this. And like I said, I know it's kind of hard to do sometimes with high grade kits. The articulation of them kind of doesn't really allow for it to be done like that properly. But with this particular kit, if you can kind of like adjust it a little bit like that, I think it will definitely look nicer as well. Angle the legs out a little bit, and then try to get like the pelvis a little bit forward and the body a little bit like this. It should be like that. Can you see what I'm doing here? So like legs and like the front of the crotch, and the midsection a little bit pointed back, and then the top half of the torso then like pointed forward. So he's like doing like one of these. That's exaggerated, but you guys get what I mean. I should do a video, I suppose, someday on like posing. I don't really feel like it would be, something that important to invest my time into making a video like that, but I guess so. It could be useful, I suppose. Opposing would be, okay. Well, anyway, all right. I'll think about that. Just to give a couple little pointers, I suppose. Just because you see like the different, I see this probably every week or every other week or so, someone posting around on Facebook like these images showing like what to do and what not to do for posing, and like giving posing tips and images. So I see people sharing those around all the time. So I just kind of figure like, oh, everyone's seen those images on like how to pose your Gunpla, so I don't really need to make a video about it. But maybe just doing a quick kind of simple video on posing, I suppose, would be cool. But yeah, Greg, especially if you're planning on putting this up on an action base, then you can kind of just disregard everything that I'm saying about this, because then you can get obviously much more dynamic with the posing of this. And I think this kit, this design, especially being like a very spacey design, is going to look so much better on an action base and like a flying pose anyway. So that's what I would recommend for this ultimately. But yeah, aside from that, I mean, just the kit as it is, I think if there's anything that I would maybe add on just like the general build and painting of the kit, aside from just a little bit more care on the seam line on the beam rifle, as far as I can see, there may be other seam lines that maybe need a little bit more work in other areas of the kit, but not that I can see. And I don't think it's a kit that has necessarily a lot of other seam lines on it, aside from the forearm one, which we addressed. But the one thing that I will say is that I think a little bit of detail painting could also look good on this as well. Like, for example, on the side skirts, the little verniers there, just painting those in like a similar kind of like gunmetal color like you did up here. You could just mask that. Just a little masking tape around the edge of that. Spray that just with that same metallic kind of color used for those big thruster bells down there, or just hand paint that in a little bit of gray or something, whatever you want to do. And also like on the front of the chest, these like chest vents, painting that in. It's a little bit of hand painting or masking, again, whichever is more comfortable for you. Just painting in just a few of these little details and everything especially on a design like this where it's pretty much like one solid color. It's pretty much just all this like reddish pink magenta color. Little bits of painting in some of the details here and there will also just kind of help to break up this, like the look of it just being like one big solid color. So I think with this particular design, you don't have a ton of little details like that you could really pick out for painting, but like here on the back of the leg as well, these other little vernier bits there. As far as I can tell, I don't think those are painted in a different color as they are. Okay, yeah, Greg said he did get a base for it in the air, so okay. But yeah, painting in, because it has on like this backpack too, there's one more right there. These little verniers, painting those in like a different color, maybe these kind of like bolt details on the shoulder as well, here on like the front and back of the shoulder. Just painting in a few of these little details and like some gunmetal or gray or whatever, I think would look cool as well. That would be my suggestion. And this is completely subjective, but me personally, I probably would have used a few more decals. And these decals also look like maybe a 1/100 scale. They look, some of them, I don't know. The ones on the knees look pretty small, but some of them look kind of large. Not like too large for this kit, but I mean, like if you wanted to put more decals on this, and if you're using that same decal set, then it maybe not. Maybe you don't want to add too many more because they're kind of large. So if you're adding a lot of these larger size decals, then it's gonna maybe look a little bit too heavy. So if you're having a lot of decals on the kit, then like I think the size of them is more important, and using this a smaller 1/44 scale size in that case, I think would be better. And probably what I would have done, using maybe a couple of these like larger size ones, but then like mostly using like a lot of more smaller ones. But considering using these ones which look to be a little bit larger, I think the amount of decals works for that scale of decal, if that's the scale of decal you're going to use. So you guys get what I mean? Does that make sense? Anyway, yeah, looks great, I think. And yeah, maybe some like slightly two-tone, a little bit of two-tone red maybe also could have looked cool, but maybe something to do next time if you ever feel like painting up another one of these. I mean, I think this is a kit that looks great. It's kind of like the Sazabi. It looks great if you're going to do like just all one solid color red, but it can also look good if you do like 2 or 3 tones of red as well. So I think either way, whichever way you would have gone with it, it could have looked good. I think it looks good like this. It could have looked good with multiple tones of red as well, but either way, looks good. I like the gray at the top of the fuel tank too, so it's not just solid white all the way down. It's got the gray part there at the top. I like that. That's cool. It's a little thing. And was there a picture? It's not really a very clear picture of the beam rifle, other than just like the top here, and you can't really see it all that well in this picture here either. But so it's kind of hard to tell about what the beam rifle really looks like in too much detail. But I mean, it's a beam rifle. It's pretty simple. Nothing too crazy to that, I suppose. But there we go. I think that about does it here for Greg's Gerbera Tetra. It's a cool kit. I need to get around to building mine someday. It would have been cool if Bandai would have made an RE100 kit of this as well. The GPO4 Gerbera was a really cool RE100 kit. Would have been cool to have the Gerbera Tetra as well in 1/100 scale. It'd be really cool. There was that 1/100 scale plastic kit from, what brand was the RC or something? Some bootleg brand, but apparently the quality was just really bad on that kit. So that is going to be it for today. Let me see. Hang on just a moment. I think that's all. Check here. And again, I got a couple of, let me see. I got a couple of people have emailed me submissions who are not Patreon supporters. So just a reminder to you guys, if you want to submit your works for Gunpla critique for any episode or anything, then it's this whole thing is just part of a is for Patreon supporters. Yeah, Evan, I saw your email, but the Gunpla critique here is submissions are from different Patreon supporters. So if you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, the link should be down below there, I think. So that's, yeah. Anyway, that's just a benefit for them, for those Patreon tiers. So that's gonna be it for today's episode, guys. Next week, let's see. Next Friday, I think Wednesday. It's not totally for sure the timing of this exactly. So let me see. Hang on. Okay, sorry. Hang on a moment. I'm not totally sure about the timing of this. So Wednesday, I think there'll be another live stream show that I'll be doing with Adam. But Friday, for sure, Friday morning, like 1 week from now, will be a new builder interview. So you guys can check that out. And then hopefully also on Monday, maybe doing a live stream build. I know it's been a while. Been a while since our last live stream build. So hang on, let me just see here. I just want to check something. Okay. Yeah. So a few different things a few different live stream builds or live stream things next week to look forward to. Hopefully some live stream build on Monday, some other different show on Wednesday, and then an interview on Friday next week. So I'll see you guys then. For the time being, have a great weekend, guys. And yeah, I'll be working on some other stuff. I've got this to show you guys very soon. Looks a little bit different than it did just straight out the box. So that's almost done, and other things I'm working on. So I'll and my top coat came in yesterday. It was delivered. I needed some more top coat, so now I have the top coat needed to finish my Mazinger kit as well. It was almost done, but I ran out of top coat on like the last two parts, so I had to order some more, and it's in, and now I can finish that. And so hopefully later this weekend I'll be able to show you guys also my finished Mazinger kit also. So anyway, look forward to that, guys. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.